Now we should get back online, I think. Please. I hope it's streaming now. Yes, there we go. Back online. No clue why I did that. Right, well, while we were away, let's have a look at who is currently taking the top. And it's Camille Daha. Is it? Or have we just come in at the right time? Personal best. No, we haven't come in when they've done their lap. So I think Camille Daha is one of the first ones to set a valid lap time. No, it won't. It will be Abe Santama. We'll just have a look at what that time will be. Looking pretty good right now. It's looking like it's going to be a 1:29.0. Good lap time from Abe. What is Camille going to do? He is just a bit slower than Abe Santama for 1:29.2. John Gibson next to cross the line. It's going to be an invalid lap time though. So is Samil Dunn. Not a valid lap time from them. Cholo Demano. AM driver, and that's a 1:31.5. Rogerio Santos 1:30.5. Not a great lap time, but not a bad lap time either. Will definitely set them into the midfield when everything comes alive. Everybody else is just about to finish their lap time. Yes, they were. Dennis Koroteo set in there 1:31.5. Anthony Camacho 1:32.2. Ganahadi Hutama, oh, that's a very good lap time, 1:30.2. And Miroslav Zurkovic, wow, a 1:27.8 to, I think, pretty much beat Abe Santama's personal best. No, he hasn't. Still 1/10 off beating Abe Santama's personal best, and right now Abe is going 1.1 seconds quicker, so might we see another 1:27? And it is a 1:27.9, still slower than Miroslav Zurkovic. Miroslav Zurkovic right now going just 1/10 quicker, which might reinforce that quickest lap time and the pole position. Matas setting a 1:28.6. That is definitely unlike him. He doesn't do that very often. And invalidating his lap time for good measure. Josh Buckwater 1:30.0. Already in fifth, going 2/10 quicker. Have a look from the top camera as Abe still not going purple, which is very unlike him. And Miroslav Zurkovic still trying to get that perfect lap time to secure himself that pole position. We know that Miroslav Zurkovic is a great driver, but so far Abe has been able to beat him on nearly every single occasion that he's been online. And, well, maybe this race is just not meant to be for him. Camille Taha. Oh, sorry, he's already set a lap time. Bob Sponge, he's just set a lap time of a 1:29.1, and so did Yevgeny Makarevich, 1:29.5. Great lap time by the two of them. Rogerio Santos going 5/10 quicker right now. That's going to put him up a couple of positions. 11th right now. That puts him up into 7th place. Ahead of Josh Buckwater and Patrick Starr for now. Ganahadi Hutama still struggling to beat his 1:30.2. And I'm not surprised at that. He is an AM driver and currently sitting in his own respective pole position. Is it Samil Dunn still not able to overtaken Hardy Hutama, but might do so this lap as he's going 3/10 quicker and more. Felix Palin not having the greatest of times. Currently sitting in P17, which is very unlike him. Mockstock's going 4/10 quicker. Sadly, I don't think that's gonna put him up any more positions than it is right now, but that's definitely gonna set him much closer to Benjamin Koo and ahead of Harry Clayton by over 3 seconds. That Porsche, well, not being too bad. And I think actually Abe and Miroslav Zurkovic and Matas not going to be going out. I don't know. Oh, actually, just as I say that, Abe Santama yet again crossing the line, and he wasn't in the pits, but he just was, I don't know, heating up his tires, possibly? Something weird like that. We know Abe. He's got his own strategies in mind. He's got his own little play on this race. And, well, we might still see him win this race, but that's not for sure. Was going purple, now sadly invalidating in the chicane of gambling. Sadly ruining his lap time halfway through the qualifying. Benjamin Koo going 1 second quicker, actually 1.1 seconds quicker now through this corner. Very easy to mess it up, very easy to go slower here, but no, he's handled it pretty well so far. We'll see how he goes. Down into the hairpin. Getting a decent exit out of there. Now the run towards the final chicane. Probably one of the most sane chicanes on this track. And he has improved by 0.9 seconds. Actually now 1 second on his 132.2. And that's going to get him from 20th position to 16th. And behind him, Anthony Camacho is doing pretty much the same. Except maybe going a bit slower than Benjamin Koo. Up through the final chicane and up to the line from 20th all the way up into 18th place, which is a very good lap time for him. While we were talking, Hardy Hutama set at a 129.5, absolutely destroying his AM compatriots. Pacciolo Dimano also right now improving. Last race they were absolutely stonkingly quick on Suzuka. Now I do think that ended with a crash, possibly. I'm not sure. I don't want to speculate. Have a look. Let's have a look at the results of Suzuka, our last race. Oh, he didn't even take pole position, but that was only by about 2/10. Pacciolo Dimano, no, they have won the race on Suzuka, so that was an absolutely stonker for them. But right now, all they need to do is try and get a bit up there, and that is what they're going to be doing by improving by 3/10 and hopefully getting ahead of John Gibson. And yes, they do, just by 1/10. Will John Gibson have anything to reply to that? Well, we'll see in the next 8 minutes. Matas, surprisingly, going purple right now. And that is not what we thought we were going to see. 7/10 improvement on his 128.6. 9/10, 8/10. Still fluctuating just a bit. And he has already gone past some of the hardest points on this track. Might he take pole position here is the big question. Through the chicane of wonders and up to the final straight. This might be the best lap time Matas has ever set, and he takes pole position like an absolute Chad by over a 10th ahead of Miroslav Zurkovic. That has to be the best performance we've seen from Matas. What an absolute drive, what an absolute lap. That was amazing. Now, I'm not sure he'll be able to keep that up in the race, but if anything, he's definitely got a great story to tell about this qualifying. That was marvelous. And we do know that there are still 6 minutes left, so anything can change if Miroslav Zurkovic just goes a 10th quicker here. He can get his pole position back, but even then, Matas has set himself for a pretty good race start if he can keep it all clean going into the first corner and through the first lap. It is a pretty hard track to overtake on, so as long as Matas can keep it nice and composed, not making as many mistakes, then he can definitely get himself up into the top third, maybe even stay in first for a couple of laps. But we'll see how long that pole position lasts, as Abe Santama right now, he is going 1/10 quicker, and he was going on a purple lap, but currently not doing so well. And not even improving on his lap time right now, while Matas, absolutely stonking lap time, 127.7. Can't keep the light on Matas forever. Here is Rogerio Santos, currently improving 3/10 on his lap time. I don't think that's going to be an improvement on his position, but definitely going to be securing that P10 from Patrick Starr. And what is it going to be? It's going to be a 129.6, only 1/10 away from Izzet Samil Dan. Not planning on fighting Abe Zurkovic, hoping to keep up with Taha. No, that's definitely a good idea. Yeah, Matas on pole position, definitely surprising. When I did start to see the delta, I did think it was a bug at first. I did think that Matas could not possibly be going a whole second quicker than his lap time. But then it did kind of hit me that it's not a bug, and Matas can and will surprise you at times in his qualifying lap times. And, well, he did so this time out. Miroslav Zurkovic, again, invalidating his lap time, was going purple. Now not going purple at all, going 6/10 quicker and back into the pits. Abe Santama, also invalid lap time. What is going on? Matas is having a real-life Magnussen moment over here. Here comes Rogerio Santos back into the pits. Have a look at Felix Payton, who's currently improving 2/10 on his lap time, which might put him up ahead of John Gibson if John Gibson doesn't improve on this lap time, which he is, as the camera forgets to pan over to the Lexus. He's going 2/10 quicker. Might get held up by Patrick Starr here, but maybe give him a nice little slipstream. Going 1/10 quicker, and I don't think that was enough to actually get him ahead of Ethan Reed, which is an unlucky sight. You gotta say, I'm completely flabbergasted by that. I did not think for 1 second that Matas would be the one who would take pole position here. And it does seem quite real right now if Abe Sanctua doesn't ruin it, which he does want to, as he's going 4 tenths quicker than his 127.8, and he's already mostly coming towards the end. So might Matas sadly lose out on his pole position here. Now even then he will be starting on the front row because Miroslav Zurkovic won't have enough time to complete 2 laps here, and Abe Sanctua setting the purple lap times. And will it be enough to get ahead of Matas? Sadly for Matas, his pole position hopes are completely vanishing now, and Abe Sanctua setting the quickest lap time of the qualifying, a 127.71, just 25 thousandths quicker. Unlucky for Matas, but definitely a very, very good run from him to be, well, on the front row alongside Abe Sanctua and ahead of Miroslav Zurkovic, a person that I would think would be taking pole position today. But everything's been turning upside down ever since Matas set a 127.7. Gibson ran out of fuel on the last lap while almost being 3 tenths up. Now I did see that. I thought you got held up by the Nissan of Patrick Starr, but I guess not. Anybody else improving? Dennis Coroteo going 1 tenth quicker. Won't be enough to set him ahead of Anthony Camacho, but will be just ahead of Peter Anayev. And was that quicker? No, it wasn't, sadly. Oh, Dennis doing a bit of a drift for us and going off the track. Benjamin Koo going 2 tenths quicker. That might put him up a couple of positions here if he's able to finish this lap off. 4 tenths quicker from 20th position. Where will we see him end up? And we see him in 17th place. Ahead of Dennis, ahead of Peter, ahead of Jeffrey Theria, and up into 17th place, which is a net P6 for the Ferrari driver. And, well, that is pretty much it for qualifying there. An insane gap. A 25,000 gap for Matas. He had pole position for nearly half this qualifying. Abe Sanctua, though, did take the cake to get his 3rd pole position, I think. And completely robbing Matas of the glory of having a pole position. But did have a provisional pole position for a very long time. And that was just amazing to see. A Ferrari driver taking on Zolder and absolutely destroying any sort of expectations that I had or anybody else had that was watching the stream. I don't think that's a lot of people, but definitely enough to make this a very rare occurrence for Matas. But yeah, we're just going to be waiting for the qualifying, and if any sort of predictions you have, please do drop them into the chat over there. I do want to know what you might have in mind. I do have a couple of predictions myself. I think Matas might not make it completely through. Matas loses 10 position in the first lap. I mean, when starting on the first row, you don't tend to lose as many positions. Now that's just a kind of thing I know. You don't lose that many positions in the front row unless you yourself put yourself in that situation where you lose that many positions. But yeah, we do know you can put yourself in those sort of situations. All it takes is one bad jump in the chicane. Yeah, and if you don't hold your brakes like you did at Alton Park, that can also slap you with a 40-second penalty and 2 penalty points, which I think might get you a qualifying ban if I'm not correct. Let me have a look. Let me have a look at the penalty permutations over here, just to see if you only have 1 penalty this season. Well then, that is okay. And we are now on the grid, which is a good time to talk about our great Zolder track. Of course, we are in the middle of Belgium, and this is a new sort of thing. We are going to be doing our little track walk over here, the first sector. One of the easiest sectors, I think, of this track, coming through Erst and Sterrenwachtbocht. The first couple of 4 corners, then up to the gambling chicane, which a lot of people might get incorrect here, and up to the chicane where a lot of people will get their track warnings. Then up to the hairpin where we will see most of the overtakes, and the final chicane to, well, it's the easiest chicane of this track, I think, and up to the final straight where we will see our winner arise, which might be Matas today, as he's completely, well, thrown it at us by taking provisional pole. Then obviously Abe had to ruin it. Abe ruins a lot of things. Not gonna lie, that map looked cool. Well, thank you so much. I didn't make it. It's all thanks to ACC TV, which is also the graphics that you see on your screen right now. Try pronouncing all the turns. Well, only if I get paid, because I'll screw them up so badly. You see, I tried to say Sterrenwachtbocht, but I feel like I am a complete idiot saying that. I feel like I screwed up all of the pronunciations. I think I'll get a minimum of 1 drive-through for track limits. I think a lot of people would get drive-throughs for track limits, especially in the second chicane, as I did point out there. It is very flat, so a lot of people tend to cut it, and yeah, they get a track warning and another track warning, and because there's more than 3 laps on this track, it will probably mess a lot of people up. That second chicane is too rewarding not to cut. That is true. And it is also one of the chicanes that a lot of people think that they can overtake in. Then they get towards their side-by-side, and it turns into complete mashed potatoes from there. Not a lot of people get through it alive if you're going there side-by-side. We can also skip through a couple of people here. Not that much different of a grid, except Matas being in second there. Let's have a look. What is a good helicam? Alright, well, Abe Santama takes the pole position with a 127 point. I think it was 3 something. 127.7 something. Ahead of Matas, who had provisional pole position for such a long time. And Miroslav Zurkovic only taking 3rd place after having provisional pole for such a, well, not for such a long time, but for a good amount of time. Alongside him, Camille Taha, very good place as well. Gone kind of under the radar. 4th place, starting directly behind Matas. We'll see all of the carnage going on. And then a row behind them, Bob Sponge. Alongside him, Evgeny Makarovich. Josh Buckwater, welcome back from your Thanksgiving weekend. Alongside him, Patrick Starr. Behind them, Ganahadi Hutama, the pole position sitter for AMs. Alongside him is it Samil Dunn, then Rogerio Santos, and Pachola Demano. Ethan Reed had a little bit of an altercation with the only man who could be described as a John Gibson in the Lexus. Then Felix Paland, the final position taker in the pro split. Alongside him, Anthony Camacho, a fellow American. Behind him, Benjamin Koo, then Dennis Koroteo, Peter Anayev, who debuted last race, then Jeffrey Therier, Mox Tux, Jacob Bizen, and the final position sitter of Harry Clayton. And they all get underway for the formation lap. Let's see how the start is going to go. Well, we actually did a couple of practice races on here. From what I can see, the starts are not that bad. It's what happens in the first chicane that ruins the race. The start is usually, well, it's such a short run down to the first corner that you can't really get out of control. Now, bearing in mind a couple of seasons ago when we had Zolder, it wasn't that great into the first corner, but it's pretty wide. It's a short run down to turn 1. There's not a lot of time to try and get an overtake done, and therefore I don't think a lot of people will be trying to go for that. And Matas yet again with his signature lights on at all times. I'm not sure why he does that. Wasting electrons, wasting his battery in the Ferrari. We know how unreliable those things are, so I'm not sure why he's trying his luck. Lap is soon to be ending. It is a pretty short track, so we'll see a lot of laps and a lot of opportunities into the corners, as well, there's a lot of corners on this track, and being a short track, there is a lot of opportunities. I don't know why I keep on repeating myself here, but I think the person that we should be spectating for the start is the only Lithuanian on this track. The man that's starting next to Abe Santama, next to the championship leader. It is red lights ahead of us and the green flag soon to be waved for the race start for round 4, and Matas just staying behind Abe Santama, and Miroslav Zurkovic down the inside does make the overtake stick. Camille Taha trying to go around the outside and also making it stick. Very easy for the people starting behind Matas. I'm not sure if there was a big pile-up in the back, but it looks like some people got left behind. There's 2 people in the back over there, 3 people actually. One of them started from the pit lane. Matas now down in 3rd, did get past Camille Taha again. And, well, now into the gamble chicane. We'll see if Camille Taha has the balls to go down the inside. And, ooh, they do touch with 4 going into the first chicane. And Matas now all out of shape and getting overtaken by Samil Dunn and Patrick Starr. And it's a nightmare start for the Lithuanian. And, well, as I said, look at that. The second chicane. People thinking that they can try and overtake, and then signs flying everywhere. And Pachola Demano going through everybody, it looked like. Now Matas getting ahead of Samil Dunn into 5th place. And this is Emil Dunn actually having a lot of damage on his car. Miroslav Zurkovic, he's very close to the back of Abe Santama now. Down into the first corner they go. Who is going to be ahead here? Down the inside. Might Miroslav Zurkovic make this overtake stick? No, he doesn't. He's got a very poor exit now. And Matas getting ahead of, is it Samil Dunn? And they actually had contact there. Samil going down a couple of positions. Patrick Starr now ahead of Kamil Taha. And Miroslav Zurkovic not able to pull up to the side of Abe Santama here. And, well, might be this golden opportunity ending. Now there is a massive fight over here. Anthony Camacho, Felix Palin, Benjamin Cooper, Cholo Tamano, and Ethan Reed all mixed up in a battle here. So is John Gibson as well. They're in the bag, just trying to keep to the side. Oh, actually, no, he's making an overtake on Felix Palin. And I think he made a stick. Yes, he did. Around the outside of the gambling chicane. Very great stuff by the Scottish driver. I think he did miss out on a couple of positions here, just trying to get them back. You definitely know that he started in front of Denis Korotev and in front of Anthony Camacho. Now he's behind all of them. Santama still setting his fastest lap times, 1:29.1. We'll definitely see that improve. And Anthony Camacho making a mistake out of the final chicane, and there goes Denis Korotev to overtake him. But will Anthony Camacho get passed by John Gibson as well? Maybe around the outside. No, there's not enough space there. And John Gibson now getting a better exit than Anthony Camacho, trying to look around the outside. Maybe try and make a textbook switcheroo. They're going to be going side by side into the third corner, down into the fourth corner, and I think he's ahead by then. Anthony Camacho losing 2 positions in 1 lap. And then John Gibson moving ahead of Anthony Camacho for P6 in. Oh, Yevgeny Makarevich, gamble chicane, and John Gibson also having a very, very, very bad off and losing a ton of positions to Peter Anai. Rogerio Santos also down the inside into the second chicane. He did have the balls and he made it stick, and there goes Peter Anai of the Ferrari, not really liking this track. And there goes John Gibson past them. Not really a great race start for him at all. Abe Santama setting a 1:28.2. He's now 1.2 seconds ahead of Miroslav Zurkovic to P2 right now. And now is this Emil Dunn. Will try and make his move round the outside of Ganahari Hitama. Not enough space there, but it is a classic switcheroo as Ganahari makes a mistake. And it is Emil Dunn now up into P6, net P5 in the pro split. Moving up a ton of positions. Or is it Emil Dunn? A whole 4 positions since the start of the race. Denis Korotev moved up 8 positions. And sadly Josh Buckwater, for him, well, he's lost out on 10 positions since the start. And well, it's not going quick. It's not going better for him. Made another mistake over there, letting Jacob Bizen and Harry Clayton by. Now John Gibson. He was very close to the back of Rogerio Santos just for a second there. Now, not doing so well for himself. Kamil Taha on the other side. 3/10. The gap between him and Patrick Starr. Matas will really, really benefit from this little battle going on between these two, as he's just going to be able to reel them in as they, well, Well, they slow each other down, trying to defend and attack from each other already. The gap going down from 1.6 to 1.3 seconds. And Matas might be having a look in the near couple of laps. Or maybe not, if Kamil Taha can get this overtake done round the outside of the first chicane. No, it's not going to happen there, unlikely so. Down into the second chicane. Will Kamil Taha go for the inside? And also no, very good choice by him. This is definitely slowing them two down. There's Miroslav Zurkovic, by the way. He's had an off moment. And now Patrick Starr and Kamil Taha both are going to be going ahead of him. No, only Patrick Starr. And then now it's a three-way battle. Kamil Taha going to be trying to go down the inside of Miroslav Zurkovic. Was there contact there? I'm not sure. Matas is going to be completely closing on in this gap. On this group, actually, and the gap. And Miroslav Zurkovic. Oh! Moving to block Kamil Taha. And now the netcode problems are going to be starting to happen when they're in a group of four. Patrick Starr actually moving away from everybody. Miroslav Zurkovic just becoming a little bit of a wall here. And there is Matas trying to get the position back from Kamil Taha. Made the overtake pretty early on in the race. Now Matas going to be trying to make a viable overtake here on the Porsche driver. Maybe down the inside into the first chicane. Will it actually be sticking? No, it didn't. Both of them had to let go. And Miroslav Zurkovic getting ever so close to the back of Patrick Starr. And I was about to say he overtook him, but no, he didn't. Down through Terlenbocht. And into the hairpin. I'm not even going to call it by the name. It's just a hairpin. And the gap actually increasing a bit between Kamil Taha and Matas Sidekerskis over here. Hardy Hutama. Yellow flag for them, and they're in the wall. Not a great exit to the final chicane. Maybe entry. Anyhow, Matas, what happened to them? They've gone down a couple of positions. Maybe we can have a look at the replay. At the chase camera over here. Anthony Camacho also having an off moment. Oh, him and Hardy Hutama coming together. John Gibson now included in that. And Matas, oh, that is a very unlucky way to crash. And you, kind sir, have earned yourself a very good ban. Thank you so much. Anyhow, Matas sadly now finding himself in P7 behind Ethan Reed, and behind is it Samuel Dunn and Kamil Taha. Very unlucky for him. Miroslav Zurkovic still trying to make an overtake on Patrick Starr over here. 3/10 the gap has been quite consistently here. And maybe this time with the help of Slipstream down into the first chicane, thinks better of it. And Anthony Camacho now into the pits, presumably for damage after him and Ganahari Hutama came together. Miroslav Zurkovic getting a very good exit out of that corner, but it's just not enough in order to get ahead of the Nissan GTR driver. Maybe this time into the first corner. No, it's just not enough. Not enough. Tense. Miroslav Zurkovic is catching up, and whoa! The Nissan just closing the gap on him. Absolutely ruthless defending, but all obviously within the rules. Miroslav Zurkovic probably getting a bit heated under the helmet of the car. Inside the car, sorry. And now, oh, the gap has definitely come down. Now into the first chicane. Can he get it done? It's getting blocked. And oh, Miroslav Zurkovic absolutely binning it into the first chicane. Definitely not the place to be trying to make an overtake. There was contact between the two of them. We can actually have a look at a replay. Matas having to avoid contact with Miroslav Zurkovic, also having an off moment, and we could just have a look. Miroslav Zurkovic braking just a bit later than Patrick, and oh, there was definite contact there. And that was very unlucky for the two drivers. Now, will it catch Matas over here trying to oh, that was very close with Matas. Wow. Definitely good news for Camille Taha, who's now promoted himself up into P3 after all of this carnage. Definitely will be happy with that. And Miroslav Zurkovic now going to be trying to make a move on Ethan Reed, and that will definitely be quite an easy move on the AM driver. And Bob Sponge, who is lapped, will have to, will be encouraged to slow down and let him go. So then he can carry on his race with the top four. And it actually doesn't look like Bob Sponge is going to be moving out of the way yet. And he will do so right now, just before the second chicane, but not letting Ethan Reed past, which is a very, very interesting move by Bob Sponge. Matas now getting close to the back of Ethan Reed, and I think this is why Ethan Reed wanted Bob Sponge to let him go. And Ethan Reed actually not putting up too much of a fight with Matas. Obviously different classes over here, and Matas now back into P6. Camille Taha, he can also resume his fight with Patrick Starr soon enough, but here we have Ganahari Hutama fighting Felix Palin for P9 in the overall race. Obviously, this is not a fight for position within their class. And obviously, if Ganahari Hutama interferes with class fights, then by possibly pushing Felix Palin off the track or making contact with him, he will get a much severe penalty. Much more severe penalty. But I do think both of these drivers will be respectful enough not to do so. Tenths the gap. They come into the final chicane. Again, a good time, but just not enough space there or gap in order to get ahead of Felix Palin, and now getting a bit of a worse exit as Felix Palin hogged the racing line. And I don't think this fight is going to go anywhere, but Peter Ranayev and Jacob Bizen, they have been fighting for a couple of laps now, and they were fighting before, so maybe we'll see something come out of that. But as soon as I pointed towards them, the gaps have increased. Oh, and maybe Peter Ranayev might be going for a move in. No, he doesn't. Not a great place to make an overtake, that's for sure, but well, whenever the opportunity strikes, you do have to go for it, as the great Ayrton Senna said, if car, gap. So you just kind of have to go for it sometimes, even if it means making contact. Obviously in GT3 racing there is room for contact. It's not like open wheel racing where you cannot possibly make contact side by side. There is still some form of door-to-door racing, as long as you don't compromise the other driver. You will be completely fine as Jacob Bizen makes a bit of a mistake. Peter Ranayev having to slam on his brakes. And now down the inside into the hairpin. Ooh, might be going here for a switcheroo. Not gonna happen, just getting a worse exit now. And Miroslav Zukovic getting very close to the back of, is it Samil Dunn? Is it Samil Dunn, by the way, making himself a very good position here, even if he does get overtaken by Miroslav Zukovic. I think he wasn't going to be making the same mistake into the first corner. He has since learned that that's not the way to do it. And oh, was that a cheeky little light flash by Miroslav Zukovic to is it Samil Dunn? Did he really do that? Ooh. Not so great. Jacob Bizen and Peter Ranayev making contact with each other. Meanwhile, Miroslav Zukovic is going to try and make an overtake into the final chicane before the straight finish line, and that was, well, a pretty easy overtake, I might say. And is it Samil Dunn? Not having too much to answer for that. And oh, maybe he will try and go down the inside. No, he doesn't. Thinks better of it. He does have a lot of damage on his car, and doesn't make the overtake. Now, that does bring Matas a bit closer into this fight, as now is it Samil Dunn has backed off the back of Miroslav Zukovic, and with is it Samil Dunn having damage as well, should be a pretty easy overtake for Matas, as long as he doesn't make mistakes like those. Anthony Camacho and Jeffrey Theriot having a moment with each other as well. Down in 19th and 20th. Oh, he is getting ever so close to the back of Samil Dunn. We do know that Matas can now set really quick lap times. His quickest lap time being a 1:29.4 so far in this race. Now down the inside into the first corner. A very simple overtake. Is it Smil Dunn? Did need to move out of the way there, but still within the law of racing. And well, now we'll try to set on to catch the back of Miroslav Zurkovic and possibly Kamil Taha as well for P3. Now Kamil Taha is over 16 seconds ahead of Matas and 14 seconds ahead of Miroslav Zurkovic, but I still think that in the 37 minutes they have in this race that they can definitely make a move. Now, oh, Abe Santama making contact with Peter and I actually want to have a look at that. No, actually it was contact with Jacob Bissen. Here is Abe Santama making a classical lapping attempt. And oh, Jacob Bissen completely outbraking himself and forcing Abe Santama to cut that chicane. And now has got a lot of diffuser damage, and that is crucial for good lap times around here. And as you can already see, he is going over a second slower than his usual lap times. So we might see a possible penalty for Jacob Bissen in the forthcoming days. As, yeah, that was definitely nowhere near Abe's fault. Jacob Bissen outbraking himself and going into the back of the leader, completely breaking his diffuser. Three people within a second of another person ahead. Kamil Taha and Patrick Starr fighting for P2. Felix Palin and Gennady Hutama fighting for P9. Harry Clayton and Moxdux fighting for P16. And Bison was momentarily fighting with Peter and I for P14, but that has since gone to waste now. Here is Harry Clayton and Moxdux. Harry Clayton 4/10. Definitely getting much closer to the back of the Porsche driver. A bit of a moment out of that first chicane. And oh, Moxdux, he's gone off and into the wall. Has recovered since. But Harry Clayton definitely going to have a much better exit. And now, will we see a move into the hairpin? Will Moxdux be even defending it? No, he doesn't. Harry Clayton makes a move into the hairpin. And oh, there's definite contact there between the two drivers. Harry Clayton, though, not forcing his way through and letting Moxdux have the time that he lost by having that contact. Very good driving. Gennady Hutama now getting very close to the back of Pachola Tamano. Now this is for position within class. And Ganahari Hutama going to be trying to make an overtake round the outside off the second turn. And Pacciolo Dumano has pretty much nothing to do but let go. And now Felix Palin is going to be making the move on Pacciolo Dumano too. Will it be clean? Yes, it will. Pacciolo Dumano, was he forced off the track? Is the question. We can have a look at this. And here is Ganahari Hutama completely pressing on and making the move round the outside. That was a very good move, by the way, by Ganahari. And here comes Felix Palin into the fourth corner. And oh, it kind of looked like Pacciolo expected Felix Palin to not be there. And turned straight in on him. Now, a lot of people coming into pits. Patrick Starr being one of them. So is John Gibson and Josh Buckwater, but I think that Josh Buckwater has been in the pits for quite a substantial time. Now we could say that that was maybe a Ferrari-esque pit stop, but he's currently in the pits for 18 minutes, which is since the 40th minute of this race. Pacciolo Dumano now into the pits as well. Now look at the damage on that BMW. Pretty obscene, I may say. There is Pacciolo Dumano into the pits, and we only wait to see if Camille Taha has done a good strategy here and will overcut Patrick Starr, or if Patrick Starr has completely undercut Camille Taha and will set a massive gap until the end of the race. And mind that, by the way, both Matas and Miroslav Zurkovic have took off 2 seconds of P2 right now and will be probably trying to go for the P2 position in the end of the race. Mockstux and Camille Taha fighting for position, it looks like. Definitely not, by the way. Mockstux has been in P14. Camille Taha just coming up to lap him, but looked very, very close. Looked like the two Porsche drivers were going to come together there for a second. And now Abe Santona comes into the pits as well. Just halfway through the race. And, oh, by the way, just as everybody's coming into the pits, I can quickly plug the next race that is going to be happening next week. Now, it's not going to be your traditional seasonal weekly race. It is going to be the 24 hours of Spa, which is bound to go wrong, but I still very much recommend that you watch this as Camille Taha comes into the pits, and I'll have 30 seconds to explain what's going to be going on over there. Us, VGTR, we have our own team and we will be participating in our own event. So sadly there won't be an official broadcast. Actually no, there will be for like 2 hours in between when I'm not racing, but that does mean that you'll see me racing in the 24 hours of Spa, and our team, which consists of Tom Bartels, or Kermit as some of you might know him, the Frog, the champion of Season 1. Another person, Mohammed Irfan, who's sadly not here this race, will be participating in our team as well, and Leon Stapelfeld to finish off our team. We will all be participating in the 24 hours of Spa, and hopefully we will take the prize, the cake, the P1 spot, or at least the top 5 spot if we don't crash it. I think that's pretty much it for the 24 hours of Spa. And there comes Camille Taher out of the pits, and will it be behind Patrick Starr? Patrick Starr is coming really around there. Camille Taher, how far ahead is he going to be of Patrick Starr? He's just 1.3 seconds ahead. And I think that is a great overcut by the Porsche driver. Well done to Camille. Now, Patrick Starr, he is on already heated up tyres. They're already working in the pressure window. Camille Taher still yet to get them fully correct, fully heated up over here, but Camille Taher is still having that 1 second gap between him and Patrick Starr. Shows that either Patrick Starr had an absolute awful outlap, or Camille Taher has calculated it down to the nail to get ahead and overcut the Nissan of Patrick Starr. And as you can see, the cold tires on Camille Taher's car are not helping him at all. As now Patrick Starr is coming at him very hot, very close, and down the inside he goes. There's just not enough space there to get it fully correct. Ah, yes. Right, Patrick Starr, will you be going down the inside here, just like Miroslav Zurkovic did on you? And he does. Oh, is there going to be? Nope. Again, another person who tried to do it. Patrick Starr not able to get past Camille Taher into the first chicane. I think people should start to learn from others' mistakes. Patrick Starr did get banged up, I guess, by Miroslav Zurkovic into the first chicane, and did experience what it's like to try and overtake in there. It's not really gonna happen. But now Patrick Starr has his own experience, and hopefully will not be trying to go down the inside into the first chicane again, as he tries to close up the gap again to Camille Taher. Starr just kind of slowing down behind Camille Taher, not really doing too much to try and get to him. Now I do see a bit of damage to the side of Patrick Starr's car, probably due to Miroslav Zurkovic's little adventuring into the first chicane. Why are both cameras really hating the first chicane? No, it's not both cameras. It's TV2. Let's try that instead. Miroslav Zurkovic now 9 seconds off the back of Patrick Starr, and as long as he does that for 9 laps, a whole a second ahead, he needs to be going a second ahead per lap, then I think he'll be minted to try and get past Patrick Starr and Camille Taher, as both of these will be fighting together. Meanwhile, that's happening. Gennady Hutama stuck in a fight with Felix Paland again. These two have been going at it for nearly the whole race. And Gennady Hutama is going to be forced to the outside, and will make it stake now on the inside, and a periodic moment of contact I feel between the two drivers. It's not enough to make it like bad for either of the drivers. It's Ganahari Hutama just gets cut off by Felix Palin into the first corner. And both of them having an absolute amazing fight, as Is It Samuel Dunn now finally comes into the pits. Ganahari Hutama making it stick into the third corner. No, he doesn't. Felix Palin is coming right back at him, and now they're going to be going side by side into the first chicane. Felix Palin is going to have the inside. They're going to be door-to-door racing here. Ganahari deciding to skip the chicane. What was that? I'd say he has to give that position back, because, well, that was kind of like 2021 Hamilton-esque style. He just thought he got forced wide and decided to cut the chicane instead. I want to have a look if he got a stop and go for that at all. And no, but the person that does have a drive-through is Josh Buckwater. No worries for that. I mean, come on, if any of you actually saw that, I want you to tell me if Ganahari Hutama has to give that position back. Now, I know that we don't have any live stewards, sadly, for this race, so Ganahari won't be penalised within the race. He won't get told to give the position back, but that definitely is slowing down Felix Palin from getting ahead of Is It Samuel Dunn or anybody else in this race. There you go, there is It Samuel Dunn, and Ganahari yet again trying to make some sort of move. I'm not sure what move that was gonna be, but Ganahari is turned into a bit of a lion here, trying to, well, bite at every single thing that he sees. Kind of like a fish looking at bait. He's just trying to chew off anything that he finds. Now, obviously, that is a great attitude to have to racing, but it's not so great when you're fighting against people of other class. And, well, this is what we kind of see when we mix the two classes out on the track. Felix Palin did lose a couple of positions, and now Bob Sponge is going to be on the back of Pocholo Tamano around the outside. I don't think he's going to be forcing him to go too much wide, and Pocholo Tamano just letting him go, as a person of a different class should, realistically. As Is It Samuel Dunn comes into the pits again. I'm not sure what that's for. It is for it's for a stop and go 30. So there you go. He's got a penalty his way. Obviously not great that he's got a penalty, but it is whatever. It was bound to happen, I think. Is It Samuel Dunn probably making a bigger cut on the track, and yeah, sadly having to pay the price for it. And Gibson now coming ahead of Is It Samuel Dunn as well, as he is still in the pits. And well, I think any sort of hopes to get ahead of Felix Palin are over for Is It Samuel Dunn, as far as I know. Patrick Starr still trying to gain on the back of Camille Taha here. As Miroslav Zukovic is starting to gain some substantial ground on the back of them. He is going just about 0.6 quicker per lap here. Right now, at least. sure that will be enough. So every single lap is about 1.5 minutes. There is 18 minutes, so that's 9 more laps. And he's only going to gain about 3.6 seconds. So I don't think Miroslav Zurkovic is going to be taking P4 or P3 here for that sense. Still a good recovery from him, making those 2 crucial mistakes, but I don't think he'll be leaving this race feeling too satisfied with himself. Felix Palin now coming across the back of Picciolo Tamano. Picciolo Tamano has been a pretty respectful gentleman this race so far, letting anybody that's in the pro class go. Obviously not wanting to slow himself or the other driver down, which is, you know, a great attitude to have in racing when you are doing multi-class stuff like this. And well, we'll see it again. There we go. Picciolo Tamano just letting Felix Palin go. Not slowing down too much himself, but obviously not slowing down Felix Palin too much as well, and that is a great thing to see. Now, Jacob Bizen, he was very close to the back of Peter Anayev. Again, these two, we've seen them... No, we haven't seen them come together. We've seen Jacob Bizen come together with Abe Santama. Which is not a sentence I thought I'd be saying, but... Hey, today we had Matas, who took provisional pole position for a long time. Jacob Bizen now 4/10 the gap. Down into turn 1. I don't think there's going to be enough for him to make an overtake stick. Again, trying to prove me wrong here, but the commentator's always right. He's always right. And in that case, there was not enough space. And he was not close enough at all to Peter Anayev to make an overtake. That was going to be clean at least. And now, I'm going to be taking the slipstream all the way down to the first chicane. Not going to be making an overtake here. Hopefully he will get a better exit. And no, he doesn't. He has lost a lot of time there. Nearly a whole second to Peter Anayev through the first chicane. Now through the second chicane, also losing a bunch of time. Not sure what's happened to Jacob Bizen. Maybe... Now, this is only a speculation. He's on a lot of track warnings and is doing everything in his willpower to get another one. That's my sort of speculation. That's definitely what I'd be doing if I had a lot of track penalties. Track warnings. Apologies. And there goes Jacob Bizen off the track. And sadly, I think that might be his fight over with Peter Anayev, at least for... Yeah, I think for this race, I think it'll be over. Unless he can do a second quicker per lap here. And talking about going a second quicker per lap, Miroslav Zurkovic, he's been shaving off a couple tenths, a couple seconds here off Patrick Starr. I said that he was going to only gain 3.6 seconds. So far, he's gained 2 seconds off Patrick Starr. So, will we see a possible comeback from Miroslav Zurkovic to P3, which might become P4, which will become P3 after Rogerio Santos comes into the pits, which he's still yet to do. Rogerio Santos, the only person out on track who's still not come into pits. Still not able to find that perfect time, perfect space to get ahead of Camille Taha, and while possibly getting a bit frustrated with himself, still it's going to be a pretty fine result to finish P3 after Rogerio Santos comes into pits, which I don't think is going to be very soon. Rogerio Santos will be going down to the very last second, I feel like, in this race. Miroslav only taken off 3/10 in the last lap, and again Abe Santo and Jacob Bizzard coming together. What is going on? Oh, Jacob Bizzard and Abe Santoma. An absolutely inseparable force. Here is Abe Santoma, here is Jacob Bizzard, he's off the track. Abe Santoma is going to come in and lap him around the outside. All very fancy and inseparable, these two today, absolutely. Jacob Bizzard ruining his lap there in order to let Abe Santoma go. Yeah, these two have been clashing together for absolutely no reason. So many times. Wow. It's amazing. And finally, Rogerio Santos is in the pits for what has been an amazing stint for him. A whole 50 minutes or 49 minutes of racing. His highest position he's been in for so far in this season. P2, very good from him. Now Camille Taha and Patrick Starr both in the podium positions. Miroslav Zurkovic has had a terrible lap last time out, and he has lost over 4 seconds to the back of them, so I really doubt we're going to see him anywhere close. And here's how the gap stands between Patrick Starr and Camille Taha. Just under 10 minutes left for these two to get their stuff together, and Patrick Starr not making it easy for himself by going off the track. Rogerio Santos, by the way, gaining a ton of positions. Is now up into P7. Ganahari Hutama, he's going to be behind him. And we know how that's been so far for anybody who's had to be in front of Ganahari Hutama. Actually, we can have a look at what's going to happen here. Ganahari Hutama behind Rogerio Santos into the gambling chicane. now into the final chicane. Will Ganahadi move on the brake and try and make an overtake? No, he doesn't, but will he get a better exit onto the finish straight line? Kinda. I think with the slipstream effect here, he is definitely gonna have a good run into the first corner. Rogerio Santos closing that door for Ganahadi Hutama. Now around the outside, we've seen him do this once. Can he do it again? And no, that's not gonna happen this time out. Just have a look at all the nations. John Gibson representing the greatest nation out there, the Great Britain, the UK, the combined forces of I'd say 4 countries: England, Scotland, Wales, and the Northern Ireland. Obviously, he enjoys racing under the Great British flag. Down in 13th place. And the Indonesian driver just trying to get past Rogerio Santos, and yet again, there's just not enough space there. And I feel like this is really unnecessary for Ganahadi. He does not gain a single bit here. He's only putting himself and Rogerio Santos at risk. There is absolutely no reason for Ganahadi to be racing Rogerio Santos this hard, with them being in different classes. Yeah, this is getting beyond ridiculous, I feel. I get that Ganahadi Hutama might be a bit quicker here, but I don't feel it justifies the behavior of him this race at all. Now again, if he was making clean passes on these drivers, I would not have too much to say, but it hasn't looked great so far. But he could still make his reputation better here if he gets past Rogerio Santos in a clean way. Now, coming round the outside, can he do it into turn 1 again? And wow. So far it's been clean. Now can he defend from Rogerio Santos cleanly? Yeah, that's been probably his good overtake, I'd say. It's been a good overtake for Ganahadi Hutama. Still find it a bit puzzling why he should be fighting so much with different people or different classes. Slowing himself down from catching Ethan Reed and slowing the other driver down as well. Now Bob Sponge is going to be on the back of Rogerio Santos. Now this is a fight between the same class. It is a fight for let me just count this. It's a fight for P6 in the pro split. And whoa, what's that? Patrick Starr has finally got ahead of Camille Taha. And I just want to have a look at what happened to Camille Taha. There's Camille Taha. Oh, he has had an absolute awful exit out of that corner. Did Patrick Starr? No. Oh, Kamil Taha, he was blocked by a couple of the back markers. Patrick Star just kind of took that position away from him. Not much Kamil could do. And, well, a free position for Patrick Star, that's for sure. And, well, the Dutch 1-2 now spoiled. As Patrick Star runs away with P2. And, by the way, Miroslav Zurkovic... Oh, that was close. By the way, Miroslav Zurkovic, 3 seconds behind. We could just about see him in the background of the camera. Will Miroslav Zurkovic have enough time here to get the P3 and possibly ruin Kamil Taha's evening? I think there might be just about 3 laps left of this race. And Kamil Taha, by the way, no, I don't think he wants his evening to be ruined at all. Kanahari Hutama, did he get a penalty? Yes, he did. He's got a drive-through for what is presumably track limits. And Kamil Taha, 2/10 the gap. Bob Sponge also getting very close to the back of Rogerio Santos, but Kamil Taha, this is a fight for P2. This is a fight to keep the Dutch reputation on the top, to get a 1-2 for the nation. Obviously, no nations are teaming up here, but it'll be very, very cool, I think, if Kamil Taha can get not only a 1-2 for the Porsche drivers, but also a 1-2 for Netherlands, his home country, and Abe's home country as well. Now, will Kamil Taha do what Patrick Star did to him, or will he just stay behind? And he does the only sensible thing you should do in this corner: stay behind, get a better exit, and try and get alongside into the second chicane. Now that's not going to happen here, so he will only have to take his energy and strength and willpower to the final hairpin off this track. It's a bit of a bad exit there. It's a bit of a bad exit there as well. Miroslav Zurkovic is coming in pretty hot, and this is going to go down straight to the wire. The final lap of this race. It's going to be a 3-way battle for P2. Kamil Taha just kind of hanging back from Patrick Star. Miroslav Zurkovic making a very, very good appearance here. And I feel like as the final lap starts here, we're just going to wait and see what happens. It might not even be so exciting. Bob Sponge though and Rogerio Santos having a great battle right there, and yellow flags for them. They've come together, so that battle has ended. I was just about to look at it. There is Miroslav Zurkovic within the 1 second. And by the way, as we're talking about this, Abe Santama has taken his 4th win of the season. Sorry, 3rd race. Third win. Apologies for that. 3rd win of the race. And Kamil Taha, he's gotten very close to the back of Patrick Star. He's not making the same mistake that he did last time. And now into the hairpin. He's going to be trying to go down the inside. No, he's forced round the outside by Patrick Star. Patrick Star closing that door on him. And will this be contact? Kamil Taha. Oh, that is a dirty way to get P2. And completely robbing Miroslav Zurkovic of P3 and possibly P4. And no, actually, Matas is way too far behind, but Camille Taha coming in to take P2, and oh! Patrick Starr, not too happy with that, I feel like. Not too happy with that at all, and that could be a penalisable offence, but wow. Well, not a great race to the not a great end to the race. Camille Taha might still get a penalty, and that will send him, I think, quite a long way back. Might send him to P4. And I hope Patrick Starr does not have a fit in the chat. And Camille Taha trying to blame it all on lag. Definitely saw it, Camille. Definitely saw that for in my stream. Camille Taha did just get a bit greedy there and possibly a bit impatient, but anyway, that was a great race. I feel one of the greatest races of the season, probably apart from Kyalami. And well, Abe Santama taking the race win. Is it really that surprising? No, it's not. Patrick Starr finishing off the podium, and Ethan Reed taking P1 for AMs, Pachola Zumano P2, and Ganahari Hutama third, with possibly some penalties coming his way. I'm not sure, but we'll definitely see how that comes around. Well, that's been the end of this race. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next week for the biggest event of VGTR, the 24 Hours of Spa, where we will be taking on the massive Belgium track for what will be a completely horrible and tiring race on the hills of Belgium. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and